Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Play DTS-T. This time Hippocat is back as our guest commentator. Say hello, Hippocat.
Hello, I'm sure everyone is happy about that.
I'm sure some people are pretty happy because even the author said that he was looking forward to more Let's Plays me with Hippocat, so that's gotta count for something. So we are starting at the Temple of Edfu. Did you watch the last episode?
Yes, I did, but I'm not quite sure I remember everything very well.
Well, the main question that I wanted to ask was, what is your thought of the about the word Go-Gypt?
It's kind of funny.
Also, should I follow this arrow? I mean,
Yeah, do that, what the hell.
it's double.
Save first, save first!
I only killed 2 pinkies after my save game, so it's not like I'm making a huge risk here. Okay. I was going to laugh really hard if this was a real secret, but we'll find out, I guess. So, if you remember that the author claimed that this is based partly, very partly on some real place, and I googled the Horus Temple of Edfu, but I didn't really investigate as much as the author probably did, but I just looked at some pictures and it looked incredibly similar to how Sim 3 looks. So I got more respect for Crow Team now, because some photos, they look just down to the lighting, freaking everything, just like that game.
Well, it's not such a big surprise. If you remember, Hatshepsut from Series M1 is pretty much an exact copy of the real temple.
Yeah, well, but you couldn't mix the screenshots and the photographs, but in this case it's pretty close, it's getting pretty close. Also, I'm yet to watch the making of movie, I'm going to watch it someday. I think we're talking about their techniques in making like textures from photos, but anyway, it doesn't concern our DTS-T. What is your opinion on the WOD as a whole so far?
Well, I like it, I guess. I still have to play it myself to say anything more specific, but I guess I like it, yeah.
And what do you like about it? Because this is interesting. Some people would say that they cannot find anything to like about this WOD, but of course I would disagree with those people, but I'm interested to hear your interpretation, I guess, your opinion.
Well, usually if I like something I just do without any justification, but if you really want me to find some reasons, well, I guess I'm kinda interested in the story. Well, there isn't really much of a story, but still better than in most WODs.
Yep.
And I guess levels are more interesting than just another random UAC base somewhere in space.
Wait, shut up. Freaking, why did I go there and made the Hell Knight scream? And anyway, Riley here said something about something being connected to some doors, so I guess that's going to help. Actually, maybe. I'm going to kill these guys and then think a little bit. You know, I thought a little bit about this thing as a whole, I think yesterday and sometime today, and I came to the conclusion that the key for me, to my enjoyment of this WOD, especially compared to some very popular and objectively well-made WODs such as Back to Saturn X Episode 1, which I haven't yet played, but I saw the playthrough of the whole thing. Okay, blue cross, green cross, red cross. Aha, this is now a copyrighted imagery, if you remember that whole thing, and the really 10 cross. So yeah, the key to my personal enjoyment appears to be what I look for in Doom, and many people would say that they just go here for the gameplay because Doom is very raw and interesting and not, I don't know, the gameplay just doesn't get old if the levels are made well. And where am I? Why am I going back here? I just wanted to make sure that this was in fact the lift back, because I don't have really well developed navigation skills either. So, but I apparently am one of the several people in the world who managed to play Doom for immersion, for the atmosphere, for, I don't know, the mood that it sets rather than gameplay. Of course, there has to be some arbitrary gameplay for me to enjoy also. Before I forget, what is your thought on these switches?
Well, I don't know, kinda unique. Yeah, let me say that they are rather unique. That's all I'm going to say.
Very carefully thought out. Okay, I'll buy that. So, where was I even going? What was the last thing I said? Do you remember?
Like I
My
listen to what you're saying.
You're a jerk. Okay, so yeah, I think I was trying to say that I'm like the only guy on the planet who plays Doom, and even like Mario for the atmosphere. So, is it going to lower? No, it is not. Oh, okay then. Well, I guess I'm not getting that invisibility. I don't no, screw it. Doesn't seem like there's going to be many hit scanners, and it's not going to be helpful otherwise.
Well, isn't that partial invisibility, well, crappy in all situations?
No, hit scanners, it really helps against hit scanners because you don't dodge bullets, but with that power-up they manage to miss sometimes. So like if there was a spider mastermind or a horde of chain gunners, I would pick that in a heartbeat. Also, what, why, how? Do these open by themselves? No. This nothing. Maybe I have to pick that up because I need a blue key for this place, and all these passages are locked. I have to press the buttons and I can't reach the buttons even like this. So this is at least well made.
Are you sure you're not supposed to shoot them?
Maybe. You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and break everything because
Oh, don't do that.
this cannot be activated. Wow! What do we see here? These buttons, none of these buttons can be activated yet. And here I thought that I would catch the author in another instance of jumping and crouching, breaking something when it wasn't intended to, but I guess the author... Well, I'm eating my words. The words that I didn't say what I was really going to say. So, before I forget the tangent, once again, everything I have been saying, everything that DTS-T does very good in my opinion, or at least the traces of the good ideas can be found in it. Everything by my... Как будет наблюдение?
Observation?
Yes. That's why I have you here, Hippocat.
This is really surprising actually, because I believe that you speak English way better than I do.
Nope. Okay, so I was supposed to grab that. Okay. That's interesting. Forced invisibility thing is a gameplay element that's not very unique anymore, but it's interesting nonetheless because, well, of course, if the author actually takes advantage. If there were like mancubi here or arachnotrons, I would be screwed because I would not be able to dodge. But this, I mean, come on, who cares? I'll just run away. So yes, from my observations, all the things that I suggest DTS-T does good and that made me think about those ideas and how to apply them to general level design or game design, they all seem to be targeted towards making the environment, the level, the game more immersive through making it feel more natural, so a bit less polish. And you know, that all kinda seems like I'm just this, I don't know, again, word, and I'm even forgetting the Russian word. I prepared very well for this recording. I don't know, rebellion. I'm rebellious here because I am just rebelling against every single rule or guideline of mapping that is widely accepted by everyone. Whoa, 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 haha. Yep. What does it do? Nothing at first glance. So yeah, such guidelines as whoa, that, you know, all parts of the map should be worthwhile. If you remember how I went on and on about that one Hell Knight and that one Dead End, which didn't guard anything. That's that kind of thing that I'm talking about is very cool because wait, shoot. Because it forces the player out of the comfort zone when the player can just know beforehand that whenever he goes, the game designers have his back and he will not get in any real trouble. If you know what I mean.
You cannot really know that before starting playing. Even if the level is the way you describe, still the player doesn't know that when he starts playing.
But I think the player generally expects, at least, I don't know, maybe he has to just find out what kind of level this is, but usually you're pretty quick to discover that yes, the author just does things like everyone else, and if you're going to make a area that is optional, if you can afford to go there at first glance, if there are enemies that you can beat, then you are pretty much guaranteed that you will find something useful there that was worth your time. And that is kind of thing that I want to rebel here against, because, you know, if we imagine being this dude who's just running around some, I don't know, UAC base or some ruins or something, or just a generic fantasy protagonist in a castle or dungeon, he would not really just go into every freaking room, because he has a mission to complete and he has risks to balance. He has to actually think whether or not it would be worth going in some random direction. He doesn't know that there is some omnipotent game designer that would not let him, I don't know, waste like 12 minutes of his time and not get rewarded for it. And if you just... well, let there be light. Interesting. If you just think, if you just are confident that whatever you do, it's going to be worthwhile, and it's probably not going to be like an inescapable pit or something like that. I brought up Skyrim last time, how in Skyrim you know that always you are going to find a way out of every pit that you jump down, and that's just kind of boring to me. Also, this is cool because the floor doesn't actually rise like I was expecting it to. It's an invisible floor and it's not showing up on the map, so I am going to use my power of looking up or down, because I don't think it would be fun to try to do this without that power. Of course, I am such a master scripter, so that I have my L key is bound to allow mouse look, one press, and second press disallow mouse look, and center view perfectly straight, so that I can just kinda make myself able to look for a second and then return to this style of play that I prefer. Right, armor. Here, bar lower. It's very specific how my hero can tell what he hears. Bar lower in the main hall. Apparently that sounds completely different from bar lowering in a side hall. Reminds me of I've been watching this YouTube series called Tabletop, where you take I'm going to completely murder the name Will Wheaton, and he invites some friends and they just play some tabletop game. And one of those was legit like role-playing session, D&D style, but it was Dragon Age. A very short campaign, like an hour, but still it was pretty interesting to watch. And where was I even going with that? Yeah, there was one guy who was playing an elf named Thinly, from the word thin, and he had I don't remember what was it, like a perk or a class ability or something, but he was doing smell checks on everything. So every danger, like you think there might be monsters, or you find this parchment on the wall, and he would smell it to just determine something completely unexpected. And that kind of reminds me.
Is that how role-playing system actually works, or is this something those guys made up?
Apparently there is a skill for smelling in that role-playing system that the guy just took because he thought it was interesting, and he didn't even believe it would be useful. But it turned out that, like, they were ambushed, the party was ambushed by two monsters in the middle of some valley, and the part he was I think like the thief, and the party warriors were completely ambushed because the guys came from behind, or one guy came from behind at least. But that guy, he smelled the enemy before the enemy could attack him. So he turned around very quickly and was able to, I don't remember if he blocked or anything else. But yeah, that's what happened. That was pretty freaking funny. So yeah, this is like peculiar. You smell, he could smell what was said. what clothes the guy would wear, or I don't know. They came up to a village full of corpses, and he would smell like when they died, how they died. Was the last thing they said.
That's crazy.
And this apparently my Doom guy. Well, if you remember from previous levels, he was doing that before also. So he has a pretty high skill in listening to, and he can determine what and where moved and what way every time something does move. And here I'm being really smart about this, incredibly smart, and I'm just kind of camping here, inviting monsters one by one. Also, I may have exaggerated the extent to which the guy could smell, but he tried to smell for what was said, or at least they joked about it. Doesn't really matter because it was funny. And the dwarf, the Will himself was playing a dwarf, and he was rolling really terrible dice all the way. Well, never mind, I was crushed, but I survived. He was rolling really terrible dice, so at one point he said that I am going down this hill, and the guy suggested, well, roll the dice to see if you fall on your face, and he rolled and he fell on his face. I was literally like clutching my sides because I laughed so much that it hurt.
You will have to give me a link to that.
Definitely.
Tabletop games are pretty cool actually, because you know, it's the general opinion about tabletop games like, oh, that's for nerds, and like, video games are for cool people or something. But actually, tabletop games are very funny.
That video games are for cool people.
Well, for cooler people than people who play tabletop games.
Less nerdy people, let's just...
Yeah, a bit less nerdy. And I've played some tabletop games recently with Percussio, and this is surprisingly more fun than I expected. We've played Arkham Horror, which is pretty cool, and we've played Munchkin, which is less cool but still fun to play.
Yeah, there was an episode of the show about Munchkin. Didn't really like it too much, but probably because it was really like, I don't know if that's all versions are like that, but it was really like trying to be funny all the time, and the drawings were all pretty like I could draw better in school than that. I don't know, it seems like it was a big parody instead of like a game that you can immerse yourself into, which you know what I'm here for. Also, I really don't think that the real Temple of Edfu has this kind of thing, but I suppose maybe some architectural elements or some elements of the layout are. I didn't actually find any like inside shots, on the outside, and that just looked like a generic Series Sam 3 part of like 5 levels that look just the same. Also, what the freaking hell am I doing here? Interesting.
I would suppose this is some kind of a puzzle or something.
You know, I think I see a little bit of a pattern here, but I'm not sure what it means. There are these piles of meat here. They probably mean something, unless they were just enemies that I killed and forgot already. No, I don't think. So let's... I mean, I don't think that is it. Usually I think. Let's try. Nope! Okay, so maybe it's just the ones that kill me? Nope, not only... What? Maybe it's the color of... No, but because I stepped on the red and it didn't kill me before. Nope. Do you see any kind of pattern here, Hippocat?
Not really. Well, you have the power of unlimited saves, so use it.
Yeah, but I would really like to figure this out, even maybe after I do this with my power of unlimited saves. So green, red, white. Nope, I don't see the pattern where it would say green, red, white.
Maybe you should not repeat yourself or something like that.
Well, I didn't repeat myself. I didn't repeat myself every time I died before because there are not enough tiles here to repeat myself yet. Okay, I don't know. I feel like maybe you know what? There is a slight possibility that I'm thinking of. Maybe there's a puzzle in that room, but a solution for the puzzle is here. So to just help myself, I kind of felt like I'm cheating with the save and reload to just help lift my spirits there, I'm just going to go here and look what's here. Maybe there's going to be a solution here. Also, there's a piece of meat, and I'm now afraid that it means that I don't know, a crusher is going to appear or something like that. I wanted to talk about something before. Yeah, we were playing. We were mentioning playing tabletop games. I remember that in school, I was pretty big into playing tabletop games on like the recess between classes with my friends, and I think I showed you my book of solutions. My book of a lot of crappy, very basic tabletop games of roll dice, and on some spaces something happens.
Yeah, I remember that.
In any case, there was a couple variations on the style. It was there were two games that were kind of like a platformer, 2D from the side scroller, but still with dice. It's pretty interesting. I think I scanned all of them, but I don't remember where the scans are on my computer. So anyway, let's try to figure this out. Okay, so black is 4, brown is 5. I don't think Egyptians used Roman numerals. Okay, 4, 5. This is maybe just 9. So this what is making me do basic arithmetic. I don't know if I can handle it. This is 3 and 8, and I think it's 22. 9, 22. This is 9. And this is 7 and 17. So does it tell me anything at all?
Maybe you should not add the numbers. It's like number 1 and number 6 and number 10.
Well, but I don't think there is a number 1 all by itself here, because
there is.
Where?
Just keep looking. See, there is number 2, there is number 3.
Oh, so you mean that...
you mean
just this one, number 1, so maybe it means that...
this is the first and the 6th to step on,
I
and
see.
the 10th.
So you mean that the numbers are only the order of the style on which I step on it, so there are no repeat numbers. Okay, so I cannot write this down because I don't have a piece of parchment around or a quill. Do you have any of those instruments, Hippocate?
I might have. Give me a moment.
This is cooperation here, guys. And this is a pretty interesting little puzzle, of course. It would be... I don't know how I would handle this better, but the fact that you can just completely do it by trial and error, it's not... it's suboptimal that way. Let's say just like that.
Okay, I'm ready to write.
So just, I guess, the first, unless all the colors are starting with the same letter. Alright, green. Then, what? Red. Then white.
Not so fast, please.
Green, then red, then white.
Okay, number 4.
Black. Number 5, brown. Number 6, green. Number 7, red. Number 8, white. Number 9, blue. Number 10, green. Number 11, white. And I don't think there was a 12 there. No, there wasn't. So yeah, I guess this I am sensing that this episode will not be very interesting for people for a variety of reasons. For the author, it would be because we're talking about stuff that isn't this word, and for other people it would be because we are also talking about stuff that isn't this word, and that we spend time doing this kind of stuff, and I'm not going to edit this out.
Yeah, green, red, white, black, then wait, brown.
So I can step on this tile only from this side.
Brown, green, red,
I'm guessing white, blue, because there was one blue there.
Yeah, blue, green and white.
Okay. This was a cool little puzzle. Reminded me of several puzzles that I recently remember from somewhere, maybe from other Doom levels. Ah, yes, from Lost Episode. There was a little puzzle with teleports on, I think it was Mansion, a level called Mansion. You hear a bar lower in the main hall. Yes, a level. But now, you know, I'm just interested right now. If I go backwards through this path a completely wrong way, is something bad gonna happen to me? No. But yeah, but I still have to follow the path even if all these things are lowered, because even though the teleport lines only work one way, they still work. Maybe there is a possibility of somehow, yeah, he could really done that. He could like then again, no, it would still teleport me probably. Well, yeah, he could do something like for my shit I made a teleport destination that could move, and so that I could move it in and out of sectors that it would be that, so I would not be able to teleport anywhere if I moved it out of a sector that has a tag. So he could have done that, and using scripting it would be probably even easier. So after we solve that puzzle, I think it should become safe. At least the path that is lowered, the lower tile should become safe. But compared to some other things, it's just such a minor nitpicks. I'm not even feeling like it was worth bringing up. Especially the majority of people who play Doom nowadays know how the line def actions work and stuff like that, so they can just deduce that, like I did, that you have to follow the path backwards. Or I mean, follow the path if you want to go forward again, because backwards and teleport lines do not work if you walk through them in the other direction.
Well, I've did some mapping for Doom, and all you're saying is a complete mystery to me.
You are not the intended audience of majority of the words that people make nowadays. Congratulations. Also, I completely wasted that armor, but who cares? I would not have returned here ever again. Yeah, they actually, thanks for subconsciously making me remember that phrase, the intended audience, because this is an interesting point that I don't think I brought up in the thread yet. The guy said that he was making it for more casual audience than the mapper heavy community that we have on Doom World and really like everywhere else. And I think it's really easy to see how it all happened, because his friends were looking at it and testing it and appraising it for him, and I am willing to bet here that none of those friends was an experienced mapper. So, oh wow, this music now, interesting.